Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Korua Uberegg. This board features Korua's rocker profile, which is a full reverse camber. So from the center of this board, it basically just bends upwards. That is going to help you with all sorts of powder float. Trust me on that. This board is only available in a 157. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that had 2 feet plus of fresh pow. It started out light and it became heavier as the day went on. You had warmer temps for a pow day in the spring. There was midday powder panic that made stuff choppy. The groomers were covered in powder. Basically, it was powder everywhere. This was the perfect board to ride it, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. This board's gonna feel softer than it is due to that full reverse camber. The stiffest section is through the inserts, with the tips being a little bit softer. The overall flex comes in around the middle of the road, and the torsional flex takes a lot more to tweak it, not due to actually how stiff it is, just due to the width of this board. When it comes to stability, obviously the midsection is going to be the most stable, and with it being full reversed, if you hit anything, you're gonna get body jarred. At speeds, you're gonna see the tips flapping. Do not worry about this. It's just a result of the full reverse camber. Yeah, you might get a little bit of resonation of that energy back underfoot, but this board's a lot more damp than you think and a lot more smooth when you ride it. As this is full reverse camber, it's a very skate-like pop to it. So you roll back on the tail and it springs. Now, it's not the poppiest. It's got enough to pop you up on top of fresh snow or to porpoise along. But if you're gonna just charge into a side hit and think you're boosting, no, it's not gonna happen. The cool thing is you can snap with this at the very last minute. So if you're like coming off a groomer and there's like a little curb and then there's fresh pow, you can just pop at the last minute, clear that curb, land, and it'll sink tail heavy and allow you to plane because of that full reverse camber. Are you enjoying this review? Do you want other people to see this review? Then give it a thumbs up. You know who you are. And while you're there, if you haven't already, why don't you subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications, that way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. The nice thing is, it's full reverse. You lean back, woo, tail wheelie. You lean forward, woo, nose press. But here's the issue with this board. Because of that full reverse, the shaping, it wants to revert around if you're starting to get sideways or doing anything. So you have to be aware of that. When you pop onto the nose, you've got to give yourself more speed and more space to swing it around. And then you want to get your weight way out over it and just sit, and it will hold. Ho, it will hold. It will not fight you. Do not worry about that. This thing is like a giant spatula through fresh snow. The same thing happens with the tail. You want to get your weight out over it, and obviously the tail's going to sink a little bit easier when you're pow buttering just because of that shaping in there. Now, if you're trying to like do a switch pow butter and this is like your nose and you're trying to like nose switch tail press with it, you know, you're probably going to die. I'll be honest with you. So let's be real with each other here. I was riding 2+ feet of fresh powder. It's not like I was taking this thing on a groomer and gonna go turn. There'd be spots where I'd either hit more packed down snow or like where the cat had come through on the lower mountain. When it was on edge, it was okay. But there are severe limitations with this board. 1, it's a full reverse. 2, it's a powder shaped full reverse with taper. You're basically gonna carve with like this much of the board. That's it. Can you carve with it? Yeah. Is it gonna be good? No. This board is very specialized in case you haven't caught on to that yet. Rider in mind, this is 100% for someone that's got a quiver of boards and they want a specialized powder shape. Clearly, you look at it, you can see that. Want to support us further? Swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. This board was unsinkable. I mean unsinkable. People were dying around me in that snow, just getting sucked down into crevices and craters all over the place. Like, if there was a mogul, they were falling in it. People were struggling. I just had to mildly lean back on that rear insert pack, and I didn't even get leg burn, and I could just tugboat along with this. I did not have to worry about it at all. The only time that I ever sunk on this was I was getting a little too saucy with a butter, and it got me. Otherwise, this thing is great. That reverse camber, the shaping, and what they don't tell you about is that the base is actually beveled. Like if you take a true bar to this, you can see that it actually is convex. So, you know, it's beveled up at the edges. That acts like a hull of a boat. It funnels that snow out. This thing was absolutely amazing for that day. But would it be a board that I would own? I don't even know if it would get 5 days of use a season. And I ride 100+ days and I crank a lot of pow. It just has to be specific conditions. This is a very, very select board. I cannot stress that enough to you guys. Comparable boards, the Arbor Terrapin, Nitro Pow, the LibTech MC Wayfinder 2. Binding recommendations, the Nitro One, the Salomon Hologram, the Union Strata. This has been my review of the Korua Uberegg, or Uberegg, the Uberegg. If you are considering buying this, maybe you should check out some of the recommended bindings so that you can pair it up perfectly.